That's not good. Yep, I ruined it.
Well, that one's stripped. Welcome back to Wally's Working. Today, we're fitting doors. I just ran a tap through all of the threads here for the door hinge, then ran a tap into the body here to clean all those threads out on the top and the bottom here. This one looks like it's stripped out, unfortunately. So I'll figure out what I'm gonna do there. I have no access to get up in there to change it. So the one down inside deep in there is good to go, and then this one's good to go, and then these I'll have to figure out later. At least it's in there good enough for mock-up, and we can get this thing tested and see how the doors fit. I just opted to put it on the body first, and then I'll try to slide the door into the hinge and see how that goes. All right, luckily the door is actually pretty light without the glass. Let's see. Get this thing kind of started. Now this has to go way in. There it goes. All right, just gonna be a matter of getting this thing lined up now. Well, that's pretty good there. Feels like it started. Let's see if the pin will go in. Okay, pin's all the way in. All right, let's close the door and see how bad it really is. Well, it's not as bad as I thought it was gonna be, honestly. It looks like it needs to twist. Let's see, that upper one. Needs to come out. Okay, that did move. That is better. The gap is actually really even right here, but it's really tight back here on the cab. Let's see, that door hinge only goes up and down. This one will slide in, so I'll have to slide the lower part in if I can. Okay. Get a marker and mark it, at least that way I can see if I'm even moving it. Let me see if it'll push in maybe. Like that, okay. Yeah. That's better. What's it hitting? Feels like it's hitting something right here. Is it hitting the body? The cab? It's not hitting the top. It wants to be like that. That's too much though. It's tighter there. Now this upper hinge I don't think moves at all. You get a light in there. No, that upper one doesn't look like it moves at all. On the door side anyway, I think it's fixed. This one up here goes in and out. And this hinge here only goes up and down. And then this one goes in and out. I don't know if I'm hitting the body here or not. Feels like it is, but find out in a second. It's a little drag right there at the end, and it's lifting. Oh, it's hitting right there. Okay, it's hitting this right here, right at the end. So if I can lift this hinge, maybe. Okay, it went up. Stupid ratchets. See if that's better. Still feels like it's hitting. Okay. Well, I don't doubt this door is all banged up too, so. All right, a little persuasion, a little convincing. Still lifting. It's hitting up there. We're really close though. If I lift it up to get it off the arch right there, it tightens up my gap and it makes it hit up there too, so. That's a little better down there. It needs to twist. The top needs to come out. Okay, that made it worse. Made it worse right here. A little tighter here. It helped my gap up here. Gap is super tight here. With the gap flush down here. It definitely tails in up there. Not too bad up there. All right, guys, sorry the camera shut off there, it overheated. I think I've got it where it's gonna be good enough. You can chase your tail on these things, and I know that. I've got it to where it's not hitting the body anymore, the wheel arch. So I've got the door up, and my gaps are actually pretty good. The only funky part would be right up here. Other than that, I think we're good. So the gap down here on the front side is actually really good for what it is. And then the gap down the side here is pretty decent as well. And then the gap in the back side here is pretty even with the front. It's actually not bad. Now the door, again, it kind of bends in this way. Up there you can see how far recessed in it is. So I'm not sure, but then up here on the top, it's good. The rest of the way up. So I don't know if that's just an imperfection in the door or the cab. Now the belt line on this cab is very, very rusty all the way around, so I don't know if rust jacking may have pushed it out. I don't know. I did grab the door at the top and then down at the bottom, and I pushed in on the bottom and pulled out on the top to try to twist that door, and that did help. But aside from that, I mean, but the belt line lines up just fine. The body lines. So I don't really think there's much I can do about that. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna get into that or messing with it. I'm not gonna chase my tail beating this door and beating the cab to death to try to get perfect gaps. And then the gap down on the bottom's not bad. It looks like I made this a little bit too low, so it drops just a little bit, but I mean, it's workable. I can fix that if I need to. But otherwise, the curve right here is all good, you know, where you're really gonna see it. So that was a pretty good guess when I fixed that. I don't know. I think actually I'm pretty happy with it. So I think we're going to be all right. I have no idea how the insulation's going to fit and how it's going to... I have no idea. I may have to double it up in places just to get it to seal. All right, get this passenger hinge pulled apart. Okay, there's that. Let me cut that off. Why is it when you have a workbench, you pigeonhole yourself into like a little 1 foot by 1 foot area to work in? Hot, very, very hot. Come on. Okay, that out of there. This out of here. Now I gotta get the pin out of here. Okay, got it. Clean that up. Should fit in here perfectly. Yep. All right, that's good to go. This one, basically just the bolt needed to be replaced. The rest of it's in okay condition. I mean, aside from the heavy pitting and whatnot, but the pins were in good condition. This passenger door obviously didn't get used as much as the other one, so. All right, let me get this thing cleaned up. All right, got this thing cleaned up. Good enough for now anyway. Got a couple bushings in there. On the pin, got a bolt put in there, so now it's nice and tight. No wiggle at all, so. That thing is still burning hot, so I'm gonna let it cool off for a minute. Okay, got the truck turned around here. Kind of nice having it backed in like that, gives me a lot more room. All right, the upper hinge here is good to go. I'm not gonna do anything with it, I just cleaned it up. Got all the surface rust and everything off of it. But it's tight. This thing already has a bolt in there because the rear view mirror mount is on there. Luckily, all the threads in these doors survived somehow. When I took this truck apart, I expected every one of these bolts to break off. These here are definitely a little questionable. I really needed to replace these nuts in here, but honestly, I forgot all about it before I painted it. So now, I'll have to pay the price, I'm sure. These upper ones, there's no access to them. So if I have to, I'll punch a little hole on the inside and then I'll be able to get to them that way. All right, guys, let's get this door on. I have to go down to the hardware store, get more bolts. Ah. All that glass bead's flying out and running right down my sock. Oh, come on. Get on there. Okay. All right, take two. It's not wanting to slide in here, and I don't see anything in there. Boy, it's tight. Okay, that is way too tight. That's gonna be a headache to pull back apart, so let me, Good grief. All right, let me see what's going on with this thing. All right, let me take the hinge back out, put it in the door and fit it. That's what I did on the driver's side, is I fit it first. I just don't want to fight it, you know, taking it on and off. Try to wiggle it around in there and get it to loosen everything up. I mean, I can try to put it back in there with it on here. I don't know. It's a pain in the butt, but I may not have a choice. All right, I'm gonna try to put this on with the hinge on. See if I can get it in there. Okay, let me get the bolt in on the top. Ah, come on. Okay, there. Good times. Let's see, the fun bolt is this one in here. I'm gonna have to pry up on this hinge. Okay, right there, if I can get it. Okay. Phew. That was a little bit of a fight. Got a little sweat going too. All right, let's see how we are here. Okay, I'm hitting here, so it's gotta go out. Need to loosen these. Pull the door out. Like that. Let's try that. That's better. Okay, that's not good. That's gotta go in, but that can't go in. Okay, this door is way off. Yeah, is this the right door? All right, guys. This one is definitely more of a fight. My big problem is it's hitting up here really bad, up against the body. And I have no way to move this hinge forward, is what needs to happen. But the problem is it's already tight here, and it's already tight here. So I've got this hinge, the door pulled all the way out on that lower hinge to effectively rotate the door like that. But that's still not doing it either. So I've just been fighting this thing. I actually took this hinge back off again, and where this thing is curled, I actually hammered it so it would bend more this way to try to get me a little bit, to get this thing just to kick forward a little bit more. That did help, but I'm still not 100%. It was hitting down here pretty bad, scratched up my paint and everything. But so yeah, unless I open up these adjustments even more a little bit so I can pull the hinge out, door even further on the hinge. The next thing I might do is just pull this upper hinge back out and clamp it in the vise again, but instead of bending this right here, I may just take it and try to bend it right here. Bend this whole front area forward, see if that'll help. I cleaned everything out behind here, all the rust and everything, and yeah, just fighting it. I don't know. I don't know if it's the door or if it's the cab or what, or who knows. I'm trying to avoid cutting the door all off, you know, right here to make it fit, but I could if I had to. I don't know. All right, I'm gonna mess with this for a little bit longer. See what I can come up with here. It's really close, but it's just that upper corner. I've got it to where it's up off of the body, off of the wheel well part, so that's good to go. But it's just that upper corner up there is hitting, so I may have to do some custom hinge work. All right, good times. I don't know. It's Sunday. I don't know how much longer I'm gonna mess with this thing. I need to go mow the grass, but I probably should just walk away from it for a little while. Come back and look at it another day. So, all right, let me figure this out. I'll come back. right, guys, as you saw, I took this hinge out and then I bent this whole flange forward a little bit, and that helped. It's really tight, but it's off of it. And then it's really tight up here as well. And then my gap up here in the front is super tight. And the gap back here is wide now. So the whole door, well, at least the bottom of the door needs to come backwards. And I have this thing in here completely maxed out. The door is pulled all the way back. So now I think I'll pull the door back off again, and I'm gonna open up the holes on the hinge here around here so I can pull this door backwards more. So yeah, there's a little bit of tension on it somewhere. I don't know. I think it's up here in the cowling where it's hitting when you close it, because it's not wanting to, it's springing back. All right, I'm just gonna keep fighting. All right, good deal. Got it. I think we're pretty good. I mean, for what this thing is, I mean, it's pretty darn good actually. So still a little bit tight up here on the top, but at some point I gotta let it go. All right, so the door gap all along here is looking pretty good. The belt line and everything lines up nice. Good gap all the way down. I mean, you know, for what it is. And then the gap up here is looking really good too in the front. And then the only tight spot is up there in that corner right up there. It's just really, really close, but it's not hitting. So I can close the door right up to the edge here, right up to the body line, and it feels fine. It's not hitting anything. It goes all the way in, you know, so with the rubber in there, we should be okay. I mean, it actually fits good for as old as it is and as rusty as this thing yeah. I have a piece of this weather stripping that I got from O'Reilly. What did I use this on? Oh, for the fan shroud. And I actually held that up kind of around the door as well. And when I close the door, I can feel it actually hitting it. And I know that rubber is not as thick as the replacement rubber for this. So we should be good. Now I know they fit without any major modifications to them. We can pull them back off again, and we can go ahead and paint the insides of them. And then I need to go ahead and order all the rubber and the gaskets and everything and the window tracks and all that. Get all that stuff ordered so we can get the doors put back together again and put them on. And then get to fight it, the alignment, all over again. Okay, here's what I'm doing. I cleaned up the door latches. These are the ones off the other set of doors. Cleaned up the handle assembly and everything, put it all back on. I just want to see how these latches work and if there's something that I'm even going to use. So I figured, what the heck, I might as well give it a shot and see what happens. I just put one little piece of rubber right here. Hopefully that'll kind of make up the difference on the cab when I close it so it doesn't flop around. And let's see how they work. I think I've got them adjusted really close. Or not. It's got to come out just a little bit more. Slide that out. Let's see. It's got to go down too. Right? Yes, down. Okay, let's try that. Okay. See how that works. Okay, that works. Definitely needs thicker rubber. Maybe it needs to go in a little bit more. Well, no, because that's where I need it to be. I don't like how this drags. Is that supposed to drag when you... Is that your secondary safety? And I don't have rubber bumpers on the cab either, so that's throwing everything off. But it does close right. The problem is I don't think this thing is pushing far enough out because it's not opening this all the way up. because if I pull the handle, it's opening it up all the way. So this thing doesn't look like that's locked. Yeah, see, that's not pushing it all the way. But with that fully locked, if I pull this handle, it pulls it all the way. It's perfectly fine. I had to put the nut back on the hinge up here just to tighten everything up. It's kind of floppy. But, I mean, it shuts good. Just needs the weather stripping in there. I keep saying insulation. Weather stripping. I noticed that I was editing this video. I kept saying insulation. Okay, but this, so lock works, that's locked. If I open it from the inside, it's great, nice and smooth. It feels good. I mean, I think they're gonna be fine. I can use them. I just gotta figure this out. What I can do is just either extend this. So when you push on this with your thumb, it's pushing on this plate right here to unlock it. And it's just not pushing on it far enough. So either I can put something on here to make up that difference, or I can try to extend this with something. I don't know what this is though, if it's steel or if it's pot metal, or I have no idea. Let's see, well, it's steel. Okay, it's definitely magnetic. So yeah, I'll figure that out, not a big deal. But I think it'll be all right. I'm fine reusing these things, I really am. I'd really like to do the Altman setup, but yeah. Another thing I had to do inside the door here was this bracket here that supports the door handle on the outside. The spot welds all broke off, so I just drilled new holes and I had to re-spot weld this bracket to the door just to strengthen all that up, because the door handle was flopping around really bad, but now it's good and solid again. I'll just have to get the gaskets for them. I'm trying to do all this time-consuming stuff now, figure everything out, figure out what I need and don't need, and then go from there. I'd like to get these doors painted tomorrow maybe, or the next day. We've got a little bit cooler weather moving in here. I mean, low 100s. That's as good as it's gonna get for us right now, and I'm not waiting until it really cools off to paint them. I'll just reduce the paint way down and we'll just squirt them and we'll just send it, basically. All right, guys, before I pull this door off, I've been just trying to take care of a whole bunch of little stuff. So before I paint it, I wanted to get new covers made for right here at the bottom of the door. Now this is the original one here. I just used it as a template. Then I just made up a quick and dirty cover plate there just to fill that hole up. Looks pretty good. And then this thing was chewed up pretty good down here at the bottom. I just welded in a plate right here just to give this a little more support. It did help it quite a bit, just tack welding it in there. And then, you know, these flanges and stuff here are pretty rusted, so I'll just get some seam sealer and really get it in there. And I'll work it into these corners and all around here and get it all filled in real nice. And then this panel that I made, it's curled down here on the bottom. So when it's on, the weather stripping will go right in here. And then this is supposed to act as like a protection, you know, or kind of hold the seal on, if you will. So that should give it enough room here for the seal underneath. I'll probably have to modify this once I get the rubber for it. But for now, this just gets me a rough template. All right, guys, next order of business on this side. I don't like right here when I did the bottom of the door, I didn't quite curl this enough to get it flat. You can see how it actually kind of hangs down just a little bit right there. I'm gonna make a quick cut on the bottom of this door right here, and then I'll just tap it up and then just re-weld it back together again right there. I think the front edge up here was fine. I just needed to do the back. Yeah, let me do the front edge too. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Okay, let me tack this weld. Let me tack this weld together. That's what I was gonna say. Let me tack weld this together. Okay, we're good. All right, that's better. Nice and even, pretty much all the way across. She ain't beautiful, but it's good enough. All right, guys, I got this other one made up. Sorry I didn't record nothing. Again, it's just too hot, but that should work just fine. It looks all right. And then this door over here, I just went ahead and put in some seam sealer because this edge was really rusted and coming apart. So I just put a whole bunch of seam sealer on it on the inside and everything, got that all done. This door has drain holes already. I need to drill a couple holes in this one though. All right, guys. Whoa, there goes the camera. If you squint, it's mint. They're ready to go. So I'm just gonna get some primer on them now. It's probably entirely too hot to be doing this. I just got some pre-mixed stuff already, DTM. So it's 100 and, I don't know, 9 or 10 right now. So it is what it is. This stuff sprays actually really nice. So I'll just try to get a couple good wet coats on it, and then hopefully by tomorrow it'll be ready to go. And it's windy. All right, let me let this set for a minute and then I'll put another coat on it in a minute. I gotta get the door hinges off and get those in primer as well. All right, pretty much out now, so I think that's gonna work. Yeah, they look fine. They'll be all right. All right, guys. Got the paint booth all ready to go here, I guess. I got everything scuffed down with Scotch-Brite and went over everything with wax and grease remover, so we're ready to go. All right, and it's just now tapping 100 degrees, so I'm gonna try to get this done quickly. Okay. I think I'm gonna add a little bit of reducer just in case. Better safe than sorry. Just a little splash. 10%. I'll just put some good heavy wet coats on there. They should be fine. It's pretty good. Okay.
And a little heavy there, gotta be careful. All right, let me give this about 15 minutes and I'll do another coat on the doors. Call it good. Why is it so dry? That's not good. Oh man, I fucking ruined it. Yep, I ruined it. Okay. So, I don't know what happened here. Well, it either needs more reducer. I think it thickened up sitting in the fucking thing. Let's try that, I guess. I don't fucking know. I don't do this for a living, so I don't know. That's better. Kind of afraid to hit it, but let's see. Oh, I ruined it.
Well, boys, there's a reason I'm not a painter. Oh, that's upsetting. I waited too long, and I let that paint sit in the cup a little bit too long, and it needed to be reduced way down because it's so hot out. So when I sprayed it again, it just kind of made it a little more blotchy. The first coat that I put on it was beautiful, but now, oh well. Definitely a lot more orange peel, a lot more splattery to it, you know. Lesson learned, don't let your paint sit in your cup too long when it's hot out. I mean, it was only, the can says 20 minutes, but I only waited like 10, 15 minutes, a little less than 15 minutes before I wanted to jump on it, because I knew I was trying to factor in the heat, but I did not factor it in enough. So whatever, it's fine. I mean, the rest of the paint job in the interior anyway is kind of the same anyway, so it'll all match, whatever, as long as it's the same color. Now it's going to really make me want to do full-size door panels on this thing. Just to cover all that up, but which is kind of what I was thinking about anyway. With this thing was putting on a full door panel, just because the bottom half of the doors and stuff are so bad anyway. So it's a lot better looking than it was. So, all right, I'm just gonna let this stuff sit and dry for a couple of days, and I did order the rubber and everything for this thing, so that stuff's on its way. It'll probably take a few days to get here. And yeah, I think I'm gonna call the video here. So yeah, next video I'll probably just work on getting the weather stripping on the doors, getting the doors hung back on the truck and getting the door latches in, and then I'll figure out the windows and the glass and all that later. And then the rest of the window channels and all that, that's going to be, I'm not looking forward to rebuilding all the wing windows and everything. So, all right, guys, I appreciate you watching. Thanks for the support, as always. Don't forget, get out there, go work on your junk. I can't be the only one out here having fun. All right, guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Have a great day.